I'm raising a nerd daughter while healing my own nerd identity in real time. So today I want to share this one sentence that completely shifted the energy in our home. It wasn't therapy, it wasn't Pinterest hacked. It was a simple phrase that changed how my daughter responded and how she saw herself. So picture this. She's melting down after school, shoes in the hallway, bag on the floor, body on the couch. And old me would have said, "You're okay, just calm down." Because that's what I was told growing up. That's how I was parented. Just push through, just get over it, and keep moving. Not through any fault of my parents. They didn't know any better, so I can't put that blame on them. But it does mean is that when I get to have these moments of presence and I get to parent her in a way that I needed, I'm also reparenting my own inner child. So this one day I was able to pause and said something different. And that, my friend, is how everything started to change. So instead of correcting her, I said, "Do you want quiet or do you want connection right now?" That was it. And this question, this super simple two-part question, gave her the permission to feel what she was feeling. And it told her that she wasn't broken and that her needs mattered and that what she was feeling was valid without having to explain it, without having to justify, and without having to feel like she was just being pushed aside. And here's the kicker. She answered clearly and calmly, and then we were able to just navigate this moment together. So here's the science behind it. Our brains will regulate faster when we're given autonomy and when we're invited into those choices instead of pushed into compliance, like so many of us were growing up. Because, let's face it, our parents didn't always have the tools to help us regulate our emotions. So then we grow up into these unregulated adults who, we just didn't know what to do or we didn't know how to properly process it because we were told all of our lives that we were just being dramatic, we were too much, we were, too sensitive, and we just needed to get over it. When really what we needed was for someone to hold the space for us that we as adults and as moms can do now for our own kids. And the beauty of that is that every time we do this, every time we hold that space for our kids, we're holding space for ourselves to heal that inner child and to reparent. And it's beautiful because not only do we get to do that for ourselves, but we also have this ability and this privilege that our kids get to see us processing and healing in real time. So then it just gets further built and reinforced into their own narrative. So they don't have to grow up with the same kind of language and the environments that we did. And again, this is not always on our parents because our parents didn't always have the tools either. So I'm not trying to place blame, at least for me speaking personally, this was my experience. I can't speak for everybody else because I don't know what everybody else went through. But, for myself, my parents didn't have the tools. They didn't have the language behind it. And they parented me in the best way that they knew how. I don't fault them for that. And quite honestly, my parents gave me a lot of gifts with the way that they parented me. So learning these things now as an adult, I don't fault them for that at all. So when you do these things, though, with your neurodivergent kiddos and even the younger ones, and you ask them, "Do you want space or do you want, just for me to be there? Do you want help or do you want to do this your way?" Because it interrupts patterns and it breaks generational cycles. It stops us from going into fix-it mode and gives them the space to process. And it reminds us that co-regulation doesn't mean control. So those sentences, those simple questions, those choice-giving opportunities taught me more about parenting than any book that I've ever read. Because when our home feels safe, emotionally safe, our kids know that they can stop masking, and we get to stop masking too. So if this hit home, like the video, comment with your go-to connection phrase, and grab the Emotional Resilience Reset Guide in the description. Your home doesn't have to be calm all the time, and probably isn't, but it just has to be safe enough to come undone. So it's like putting in a cheat code mid-game. You're not skipping the level, but suddenly the challenge feels doable, and that is what safety looks, sounds, and feels like.